The following is a presentation of Learfield IMG College.
This is Duck Insider.
Give it to Verdell. He's got the first down and go! Duck fans start celebrating. Oregon is the 2019 Pac-12 champion. The 2020 Rose Bowl champion.
Richardson, another open three. Good! Duarte dribbles and slams with the right hand. For the third time in the last 5 years, the Ducks are Pac-12 champions. Outright champs.
Holy three. Good! Holy ball. Back out Shelley. Three ball. Good! Regular season champions and now Pac-12 tournament champions.
Welcome to Duck Insider.
We're just getting started.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College. Presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, here's Joey Mack.
Thank you, and a lot to get to today. It's a Tuesday edition of Duck Insider. We didn't get to Joe Moorhead yesterday as he met with the media, the Oregon offensive coordinator. We have that for you coming up today as we zero in on the Oregon offense. Quarterback Tyler Shough met with the media today, as did Ryan Walk, the Pac-12 offensive lineman of the week, Ryan Walk, and he said he got a congratulations from another Sheldon Irish grad. We'll tell you about that. We also heard from Johnny Johnson III, who gave Tyler Shough a grade. We'll see what that grade was coming up for, what I thought was a pretty impressive performance from Tyler Shough. Certainly a few plays that he'd like back, and now the Ducks are getting ready to face Washington State, and he'd like to improve on that grade. In fact, Tyler Shough, though, did say that he'd probably give himself a little bit of a harsher grade than Johnny Johnson did. More on that coming up. Your Facebook comments and questions, your YouTube comments and questions, Twitter comments and questions as well, as Joe Moorhead talked to the media. Before we get to that, though, some updates on Oregon women's basketball to kick off the show today. The Ducks are number 10 in the preseason poll. That's the third highest preseason ranking in program history. Oregon was number 1 in the AP poll for the first time in program history to open last season. So the Ducks at number 10 in the preseason poll, despite a lot of WNBA greats that have moved on now. And junior Taylor Mikesell has been named to the preseason watch list for the 2021 Ann Myers Drysdale Award. That is presented annually to the nation's top shooting guard. Mikesell's entering her first year with Oregon after playing the last 2 seasons at Maryland, where she averaged 12.3 points per game. So a few news and notes to kick things off today for Oregon women's basketball. But without further ado, let's zero in on the offense. Talk all things quarterbacks to start. And Joe Moorhead, the Oregon offensive coordinator, met with the media.
Given DJ Johnson's position change and the fact that you guys didn't have the spring, at what point during the preseason did he actually show to you or gain that trust to you that he could be a guy who could make an impact for you guys week 1?
Yeah, I think Coach Williams has done a really nice job with the group. DJ's a guy obviously with a position change. Came in, had to learn a new offense just like everyone else, but just kept scratching and clawing. And when he got his opportunities in camp, made some plays and, his number was called, and I thought he stepped up in a big way. I thought he had a really nice game.
Joe, what was the conversation like with Tyler and Anthony about Tyler being the starter on Saturday, and was it really a game time kind of decision, or did you guys have an inkling earlier on?
Yeah, I think Coach talked about that a little bit earlier in his press conference, and won't go into specific details. But, the guys, they've handled it really professionally. You know what I mean? Both of those guys, obviously Anthony's been around the block, and he's done it a long time at this level. And Tyler's paid his dues here. They both had tremendous camps. We have the utmost confidence in both of those guys. And, I think they both handled it very well.
Joe, what impressed you most about Tyler's performance? I'm wondering, just with the limited spring and limited scrimmages and not hitting quarterbacks in practice, were you at all surprised with some of his running moves and cuts and stuff?
No, I think he's got a lot of playmaker in him. I think the thing I was most impressed with was the production and the balance and his ability to generate explosive plays while really, for the most part, minimizing turnovers. So I think any time that you can, help an offense put 35 points on the board, totaled, I think, over 300 yards of total offense. And, for the most part, kept the mistakes to a minimum. I think for, like I said, a new offense, new quarterback in his first start with 5 new guys up front, I thought he did a pretty admirable job.
Yeah, you said 5 new guys along the offensive line. Just kind of curious, what was the overall assessment of that group, and just how did they perform with the constant rotation of guys playing in different spots throughout the game?
Yeah, just something based on the pure numbers, almost 500 yards of offense, 35 points, it was 296 rushing and no sacks. I think it's a very, very good start. And, as we've discussed earlier between, Coach Cristobal and Coach Mirabal and their track record and the talent that we have and the combination of development and culture and scheme, I think once again, just like Tyler, I think for the first start with that whole new group, and obviously that's the most difficult, relative to cohesion and playing together with the calls and all the variables that occur at the line of scrimmage. I thought those guys did a really nice job.
So I believe that third down conversion percentage is the best in your career. So that's a little bit of an outlier. 9 of 11 on third is kind of unheard of. So what in your mind is a goal, an attainable goal on a weekly basis? Because 9 of 11 is kind of outrageous.
Yeah, that is one of the things that we track on a, like you mentioned, a weekly basis. One of our offensive goals is to be 45% or higher. And kind of as you break it down, you want to be, I don't know that math adds up. You want to be 85% or higher on 1 to 2, 50 or higher on 3 to 6, 25 or higher on 7 to 10, and then it's really 15 on 11 plus. And I think we were 1 to 2 on short, and then 100% on medium and long. And I don't think we made the 3rd and 14 down near the goal line. We didn't complete that. So yeah, if you could shoot 9 for 11 on third down, don't know you're able to sustain that, but that's, like I said, an excellent start.
Coach, it seemed like the running game got more effective as the game wore on. What adjustments did you make, or was it fitness level, or what accounted for it?
Probably a combination of all those things. Coach Feld does an unbelievable job with the strength and conditioning and having our guys ready to play. I think the practice schedule that Coach Cristobal puts together allows us to get a bunch of repetitions against all the different looks. And then I thought, we went in with our base game plan, didn't get a ton of series in the first half. But as we came out in the second half, there was one halftime adjustment we made to one of the inside zones that we were running that we kind of leaned on in the second half. So, like I said, probably a combination of all those things.
Joe, 2 years ago when Oregon went to Washington State, game day was there. It was really an insane atmosphere. Obviously, that will be completely different in this year's meeting. How did you feel the team handled not having fans at Autzen, and what's the key for road teams to get up and bring that energy, as you guys say?
Yeah, and once again, I say it all the time, attitude reflects leadership. So I think the guys, you never rise to the level of your opponent. You fall back to the level of your preparation. And I think Coach Cristobal has done a phenomenal job of, creating an atmosphere where there's not excuses to be made. We knew it was going to happen. And it was a little, quite frankly, surreal to kind of walk out and have that feeling at the beginning. And I think we all felt the effects of that. But coaches prepared the team for this. They were ready for the environment or lack of the environment. And that's something we're going to have to, carry out throughout the rest of the season.
Joe, this staff has done a pretty remarkable job last year in particular against Weaver and Rashid, against Cal and OSU, of taking just unbelievably productive linebackers and schematically doing things with the O-line to kind of isolate them and hold them to unbelievably low production. How do you try to do that? Again, not asking you to give away anything, Joe, but yeah, I know historically, Devin White was still productive against you guys, or Deshaun Davis at Auburn a couple of years ago was still productive against you guys at MSU. How do you try to do that and take a guy who is so super productive off his game?
A maxim that I hold to be true is you don't want to never let the game records wreck the game. And whether it's at the first level, the second level, or third level, there's a guy that possesses the ability to kind of affect the game for the offense in a negative manner. You're going to do all the things that you can to minimize those things. So whether it be how you're blocking him in the run game or how he's being read, or the things you need to do to kind of negate his pass rushers, coverage schemes. And that's something as we're sitting down doing it right now, putting our first and second down game plan together, that whether it's he or the Rogers kid or the Hicks kid on the back end, which I think is the best three guys at all three levels, you have to find ways to not allow the best players to adversely affect the game.
You kind of just touched on it there, but what maybe stands out about Washington State's defense now that you've started the film prep there?
I think their physicality, how hard they play. They get 11 hats to the ball. They did a real nice job against Oregon State. And I'd say that's the biggest thing, how hard they play, the effort. Very well coached, very fundamentally sound. I think they're a very strong unit.
Coach, the wide receivers obviously made some huge catches during the game. I was wondering what you thought about their blocking.
I know that's something that we work on every single day in practice, and Coach Cristobal and Coach McClendon harp on it, and we get great work against our defensive backs. And they kept their hands inside. They sustained blocks, they finished. And, anytime you do the things that we do where there's an opportunity for the ball to get thrown to the perimeter, whether it's a tight end or the back on a swing screen, and force the defense to defend the entire width and length of the field. I think you talk about winning the one-on-one battles up front, and I think it's just as important to win those one-on-one battles on the perimeter because, that's where a lot of the game is being played, in this day and age.
Kind of looking back, but also as a means of a lesson to learn for Tyler, perhaps, or anybody else for that matter looking forward. When you guys went after Keck in the running game, you really hit some pretty big plays, even on the screen to CJ. When you attacked him, you really exploited that. Didn't do it as much when Turner Muhammad went down at corner. Is that kind of a byproduct of just the college game where there's no in-helmet communication, first-time OC, 5-0 lineman, first quarterback, or is that happenstance, or is that you feel like you could have probably exploited a couple more things maybe and hope to use that and as a teaching lesson going forward that, hey, there's a number 4 corner out there as a true freshman and might be able to exploit some things?
Yeah, that's certainly something during the week in game plan preparation. Just like you want to avoid the game records, there may be a guy or two that you think you have an opportunity to take advantage of a matchup. And I think we threw 5 or 6 takeoffs, throughout the course of the game. And, a lot of things we do are dictated on the look or the coverage, maybe not necessarily the person. And if you get a mirrored look, then you're going to go to your best matchup. So a lot of those things happen organically or within the construct of the scheme. But some of them, if you get a mirrored look and you have a choice, the term we always use is matchup. And so if we get that matchup, we'll take advantage of it.
Micah Pittman had 2 targets. Is that just the nature of how the game played out, Tyler going through his progressions, or do you want to see maybe the ball go a little bit more to Micah Pittman?
No, we had, Micah obviously made a great catch. We had another a hook and go route called to him that was going to go to them if it was single high coverage, but they played cover 2, so the ball went to Devin on the crosser. So there were some other things dialed up, but I don't think there's any way with the multiplicity and complexity of what defenses are doing this day and age to say, all right, we're calling this play and it's going to him regardless. You just can't do it. Well, you can do it. You won't be very good. But, there were chances for Micah to get the ball, but, sometimes the coverage just doesn't dictate, where you want to go with the primary route, and you have to go elsewhere.
I haven't asked about the run game yet, Joe, and that was kind of the big part of the offense, including at your quarterback. So your thoughts on just your running backs as a whole, Tyler complimenting them and how that worked. And as the game wore on, the over 7 yards of carry in the third, over 11 in the fourth. Those are just unbelievably gaudy numbers. Just your evaluation of the run game.
Yeah, as we've talked about before, the running back group, incredible depth and talent there. Coach Masher does an unbelievable job, and you have a nice, 1-2 punch with those first 2 guys, maybe a different style, but equal effectiveness. Obviously the credit goes to the offensive line and the tight ends and the receivers for their blocking. I thought Tyler made some great decisions in the run game, whether to hand it, whether to pull it, and then to go to the third part of a lot of the RPOs, getting those things down to DJ. But all the backs I thought ran tremendously hard behind their pads. They fell forward. I'm not sure we had a negative yardage rush, maybe 1. And then, like Tyler, by design or improvisation, we always talk about the ability of the quarterback to affect the game with his feet. And I thought he did both.
Good stuff from Joe Moorhead, the Oregon offensive coordinator, with some good things to say about a lot of aspects of the Oregon offense. And now some tougher graders in Johnny Johnson and Tyler Shough. We're going to hear from them coming up as they spoke to the media today. This is also funny from Thomas on YouTube. He said, quote, "I'm not sure if it was Jerry Allen or his co-commentator, that would be Jorgie, that mentioned hearing you cheer on the air. I thought to myself, it would be nice to hear a hot mic session from you in the background as Jerry was doing his play-by-play. Trust me, you don't want to hear that." I do say a lot of different things to Jerry and Jorgie, though, throughout the broadcast that not everybody hears except Jerry, Jorgie, and Terry, and John doing stats also. But, yeah, maybe we'll do that. We'll do, like, mic'd up with Joey Mack. Scott's laughing. He's like, no, nobody wants that. This is also good. I'm thinking Pittman is going to draw the best coverage the opponents have each game. Unlucky for him, great for Red, Johnson, and the others. That's coming from Mike on YouTube as well. I agree. I think that Micah Pittman You heard the coaches talk about it. Would you like to have him be targeted a little bit more? And look, Micah Pittman and the rest of that wide receiver core, I thought really showed us all something on Saturday. And I think Tyler Shough would tell you, and he will tell you in a moment, that they made some great catches. And maybe in a couple situations, it wasn't the first choice for Tyler Shough to throw it. But wide receivers helped him out a little bit, like a good wide receiver is supposed to do. More YouTube and Facebook comments coming up. Miles says, I know I'm late, but that's a nice haircut you got there, Joey. Looking good. But I'm glad that everybody has bought into the fun of the haircut. Yeah, it's been a good time, as everybody can certainly see. I will say, though, when I walked the dog this morning and yesterday morning, my ears were cold. That was an adjustment, to say the least. Coming up next, we're going to hear from Ryan Walk, the Pac-12 Offensive Lineman of the Week, and a Eugene kid. We're going to hear from Ryan Walk next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, well, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Learfield IMG College.
They say that car crashes happen in slow motion. The reality is that crashes happen fast. There's no time to think and no time to check if your child is in the right car seat. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Are your kids in the right seat for their age and size? Don't think you know. Know you know. Get more info at safercar.gov/the-right-seat. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Okay, man. This is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. Cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Show the world that you're tougher than tough. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Joey Mack welcoming you back to Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. We're inside the Country Financial Studio. Thanks to everybody for joining us for another edition of Duck Insider. Every assistant coach interview this year is brought to you by the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Fight like a duck with cancer care you can count on. Heard from Joe Moorhead just a little bit ago. It occurs to me that I don't know if we ever, as a community of Pac-12 football viewers, ever decided on a name for that 9 a.m. game that USC and Arizona State played. I saw some of it going around on Twitter, so what do you guys think? Pac-12 before breakfast? And by the way, the Ducks have said, Rob Mullins has said that Oregon probably will not be raising its hand for those early kickoffs. But what do you guys think? Pac-12 after dark? So Pac-12, I like Pac-12 before breakfast, personally. Pac-12 before breakfast sounds good. Pac-12 before brunch, I guess, because 9 a.m. you've probably had breakfast by then. So Pac-12 before brunch? I don't know. Suggestions welcome as we try to figure this out all together. Let's hear from Ryan Walk. He was the Pac-12 Offensive Lineman of the Week, and part of the Pro Football Focus, I like this from Michael, pancakes and pigskin. That has more meanings than one.
Oh, that's great.
That's more meaning, because, like, you know,
pigs
if you're
in a blanket, right?
Yeah, if you're eating pigs in a blanket too, yeah, I'm in for that, Michael. I'm in. Ryan Walk, also a member of Pro Football Focus's Offensive Line of the Week, and that was the Ducks. And that's with 5 new starters. I mean, that's saying something when Pro Football Focus is rating Oregon's offensive line that well, and they're replacing that many starters. So good stuff from Mario Cristobal, Alex Mirabal, and that entire group. Ryan Walk awarded a scholarship, played really, really well for the Ducks, and he talked to the media today.
Ryan, just wanted to ask you, last year the O-line did a really, really good job against Weaver and Hamilcar in those games of just kind of isolating them, preventing them from really creating much by any way a disruption without giving away anything. How do you try to do that, whether it's with Rogers or Woods in particular? How do you try to replicate that this weekend?
Yeah, those guys are both really good players, and their defense as a whole is really good. They fly around, they play fast, they're physical. I don't think we're going to do anything in particular, but we'll run our stuff and we'll execute it to the best of our ability, and I think that gives us a good chance to win and be successful on Saturday.
Ryan, I know you said a couple weeks ago when we talked to you, you're not doing it for attaboys, but it must feel pretty good to be named to the PFF national team and also the Pac-12 Offensive Lineman of the Week. Can you kind of reflect on what that meant for you?
Yeah, I mean, of course, it's an honor. A lot of great players across the country. Really thankful to the coaches for getting me ready this week. The scout team guys, they did a great job giving us a good look, got us ready. And the guys I play next to, Alex Forsyth, Sala, Steven, all those guys, they really make my job a lot easier. And so just going out and executing our technique and our fundamentals. And, I mean, at the end of the day, the ultimate goal is to win the game, and that's what we did. And so we'll try and do that again this week.
Ryan, obviously, you grew up in Eugene and going to Oregon games, and you've been waiting in the wings for several years to get that moment. What were your emotions like getting the start at Autzen, and did you have butterflies, or were you kind of prepared for that?
I felt like I was pretty prepared. The coaches did a great job preparing all of us throughout the week for what we were going to see on Saturday and then what the atmosphere was going to be like. Wasn't exactly like I envisioned it when I was a kid. The stadium was a little bit empty, but other than that, it was a lot of fun just to be out there with the guys and to get the win.
Yeah, Ryan. So what do you think you did the best or in your performance, and what did you need to improve on? Were you a little surprised on getting the honor?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things we can improve on. Coach Mirabal is always going to harp on the stuff that we need to improve on because, like he says, what we did last week's not going to help us this week. Last week's gone. This is a new week. So there's a lot of things we can improve on as personally, individually, as an offensive line and as an offense. We feel like we left a lot out there, and we'll look to improve on that this week.
Ryan, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but you played left and right guard on Saturday, correct?
Yes.
Was it strange or difficult moving between those spots throughout the game and kind of reflect upon maybe if you felt more comfortable at either one?
No, Coach Mirabal, I mean, like I said last time I talked to you guys, Coach Mirabal did a great job of during camp. He really moved us around. And, I mean, I was being serious when I said that. He moved us around all the time, and we were getting a lot of reps at different spots. And so it really just felt like practice, to me at least. I think a lot of the guys can reflect on that and probably say the same thing. We're moving around, getting different rotations in, and it's good to keep guys fresh like that.
Brian, even as the offense was slightly more balanced, I guess, overall this past game, you guys still had that run-first mentality, particularly on P and 10, 1st and 10, still really strong run numbers. How good was that to see as an offensive lineman? How much pride do you take in that, where that was still the approach, including against a Stanford team who, you guys had never run for that kind of production against Stanford in a long, long time.
Yeah, I think regardless of the opponent, we want to try and be physical up front, and I think we did a pretty good job of that. But obviously, like Coach Mirabal's talked about, we can still improve. There's a lot of room for improvement, and we'll look to attack that this week and see if we can get better.
Ryan, what are you seeing from Washington State's defense, especially their front? Obviously, they have a new coaching staff this year.
Their front, they're really fast, really twitchy. A couple big, strong interior guys. Great pass rushers, really. And they do a lot of different stuff in the pass game, blitz-wise. They bring some exotic stuff. And so, it'll be a great challenge for us this week to try and pick that stuff up and keep the pocket clean.
Yeah, Ryan, did you get any congratulations from maybe a former Sheldon quarterback in the NFL or any offensive lineman from the Ducks in the NFL?
Yeah, a couple of those guys texted me. Justin texted me last Saturday after I was given the scholarship, and he just said congratulations. And it means a lot coming from him, everything that he's done here at Oregon and everything he continues to do in the NFL. He knows what it means to be a great player at the college level and now at the professional level. So to hear it come from him and then all the guys that came before me, it was really an honor. just look to keep doing it each week.
Ryan Walk, Oregon offensive lineman, meeting with the media today. Awarded that scholarship last week, and then he gets the Pac-12 Offensive Lineman of the Week recognition the following week. Pretty impressive from Ryan Walk. Look, Ryan Walk's obviously has a special place in our heart because he did the Throwback Thursday Quack Minutes with Rob and I last year. I like to call him Walk It Back with Ryan Walk because he's like an encyclopedia of Oregon football knowledge. He was just a huge Oregon fan before coming and playing for the Ducks. And I really wish that we could still do those for you. We haven't been able to because Rob and I are keeping our distance, obviously. You've seen just Rob doing the Quack Minutes now, and we're following all the proper protocols, which means we can't do some of those sort of fun interview-type bits where we're standing next to the guys because we're trying to stay distant. So I hope that we can get back to that because Ryan Walk, man, I thought those Throwback Thursday Quack Minutes that we did was some of the best content that we put together. A lot of fun for us. A lot of fun. I do want to respond to a couple of your comments and questions. So Thomas agrees, Pac-12 before brunch. I'm hoping that I say the name right. Dacia, maybe? Pac-12 and pancakes. I like Pac-12 and pancakes. But also, I think this might be my leader in the clubhouse. William says Pac-12 sunny side up. I like Pac-12 sunny side up. That's creative. And Scott said it even during the break, or during the interview, I should say, that you could make like a nice little logo for that, Pac-12 sunny side up. I like that one. I like that one a lot coming from William. What are we going to call it? I feel like it has to just happen naturally. Like one of these is just going to take over Twitter one morning, and here we go. But anyway, you just heard from Ryan Walk. Up next, we're going to hear from Johnny Johnson. Gave his quarterback a little bit of a tough grade. He also talked a little bit about some of the keys to beating this Washington State defense. So we continue to zero in on the Oregon offense. Stick with us. It's Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Back inside the Country Financial Studio right after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
After 2 years of construction, my wife and I finally moved into our dream home. So when a bathtub fixture broke, causing major water damage, I was glad we had the home insurance protection we needed. How do you know your home is protected? Talk to a Country Financial rep like me, Nick Simon. We can help you understand your options and select coverages to meet your needs. Then if something happens to your home, you won't have any surprises. Need the right coverage for your home but not sure where to start? Visit TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
This football season, prepare your taste buds for the most iconic sports watching drink of all time. Pepsi, with refreshing deliciousness specially formulated to keep your eye on the ball and mouth-watering fizziness to help you power through game day. Pepsi has everything you need to start strong.
I used to care when Mike cheered so hard he spilled nacho cheese on my carpet, but thanks to Pepsi, even Mike can't ruin my football party.
So this football season, make Pepsi your go-to game day drink because it's the only drink made for football watching. Pepsi, that's what I like.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Is that a faucet running? That's not a faucet. That's a river rushing through the forest. Forest rivers provide over 100 million people with clean water to drink.
What? I can't hear you because of the vacuum.
That's not a vacuum. That's the trees in the forest cleaning up the air we breathe.
I didn't know the trees were so amazing.
Yep, and the forest gives us shade, trees to climb.
That's awesome. Let's go explore some more.
Visit the forest today and enjoy all it does just for you. To learn more about the forest and find one near you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Adopt U.S. Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the Lingo.
Hundo P. Hundo P. Adjective. Short for being 100% sure or certain. As in, if we get a puppy, I'll Hundo P always walk it.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio for Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Deja, my apologies. I should have known that. I actually have a friend named Deja. I should have known that. But she said I was close, though, so, you know, I got that going for me. Thomas says pigskin and pancakes is short and simple. But here's my thing, guys. Like, don't you have to associate Pac-12 with it? Like Pac-12 After Dark? Like, that's what we're after, right? That's why I like Pac-12 Sunny Side Up. I think Pac-12 sunny side up is pretty funny. Mike asks, I wonder, was it Shuck's cadence that drew the offsides call or early season jitters from Stanford's D-line? I don't know if it was early season jitters, but I do think that the preparedness comes as you move forward in the season. Being down, I was about to say down on the field, and I wasn't on the field. For the first time since 2014, I was not on the sidelines for an Oregon football game. I was actually amongst the stands. And hearing Tyler Shough go through his cadence, like that was one thing with no fans there and just the piped-in crowd noise. I could actually hear what the Ducks were doing in some of the cases, if you will. I thought Tyler Shough was very convincing. Very convincing. So I think he deserves a lot of credit. And I'll say this again. Tyler Shough sells every fake perfectly. He reminds me a lot of Jeremiah Masoli, the way he runs the read option. And something that Jorgie noted, too, part of the sell is that it's not like he pulls up from the jog 2 yards after faking the handoff. Tyler Shough's like full-bore sprinting after he fakes it and then hands it off to the running back, right? Like, I was impressed. Deja says, I like pigskin pancakes too. Pac-12 sunny side up could be too long. But, guys, it's got to have the Pac-12 name in it. It's got to have the Pac-12 name in it. I'm telling you. Chris Page says, pigs in a pigskin blanket. That sounds like a song.
I think the sunny side up, you picture that Pac-12 logo.
Yeah, sunny side up with like a sun coming over the Pac-12. Yes. I'm telling you, I think we're onto something. I really think that we're onto something. Chris also asked, anybody a little concerned with the lack of separation wide receivers for getting? Yeah, I see why you're asking that, because it felt like Tyler Shough put the ball a few different times in some tight windows with Oregon's receivers, who made some great catches more often than not. I thought Stanford's coverage was really solid. One thing that was kind of nice for me, being in like row 20 or 50 or wherever I was, depending on the game, on the north side, I could actually see that angle, which normally I don't see. Normally I go back and watch the TV broadcast, and then that's how I can kind of see those sorts of things, like separation, where guys were, how it all factored out, if you will. I thought that Stanford's coverage was really good. And Coach Cristobal said that, even without Paulson Adebo, I thought the Cardinal were very, very well-equipped, I guess, in the secondary would be a way to say that. Kobe says, waking up with the pack. I could go for that. I still like Pac-12 sunny side up. I mean, that's no longer than Pac-12 after dark, really, when you hashtag it. I don't know. We'll keep thinking about this. But the Ducks probably aren't going to be playing in one of those games. I mean, Rob Mullins has said that Oregon would probably not be raising its hand for those early kickoffs. So we'll see. Let's continue. Johnny Johnson, Tyler Shough, we're going to hear from both of them over the course of the show. Johnny Johnson with a little bit of a tough grade for his quarterback, but he explains why here. Johnny Johnson, wide receiver for the Ducks, talking to the media today.
Johnny, I remember Micah and maybe yourself mentioning during fall camp that you guys were going to take a lot more shots down the field in Joe Moorhead's offense. Clearly you did that against Stanford. What's that feeling like when you know those are coming after, kind of the ground game gets established and they dial those up?
It's exciting because we've been preparing for that all fall camp, all off season, and it's just exciting to see it happen in a real game.
Johnny, impressive first start overall for the offense with the numbers and the efficiency. What's to improve? What are the things that this unit needs to quickly adjust and fix?
Just the little things. I think we played well last Saturday, but there's a lot to improve on, and I think we left a lot on the field and could have scored a lot more. So just the little things.
So Tyler's first live game of the season under his belt. What was the chemistry like with the wide receiver group? Give me a grade for your quarterback.
A grade. I'm tough on him, so I'm gonna give him a B-. I'm gonna give him a B-. I'm real tough on Tyler. That's my boy. So, but I think he played great. He got comfortable in there, and he was doing his thing, and y'all saw what he could do.
He had a couple tough catches down in that corner of the end zone there. Second one they waved off. Did you think you had that one? I mean, kind of what was your mindset going through after that?
Me, I'm always gonna say I got it. So I think it was a touchdown. My mindset was kind of just like, Coach BMAC always talks about just, not minding anything else, just focusing on the point of the football. So ball was in the air. That's all I was focused on. And I tried to get that touchdown.
Johnny, as an Arizona guy, what are your thoughts on potentially playing in the snow this weekend?
It's exciting. I haven't been able to do that yet in my career. And that's definitely one I need for the resume. So I'm excited. It's an opportunity for me.
Johnny, how the Cougars look in their secondary, and what kind of challenges do you see there?
I think they have a great team. I think their secondary is well coached, and they're going to be a great opportunity for us on Saturday. I think they have size and speed, and it's going to be a great challenge for us.
I know you guys are taking this very much one game at a time, but as you watch college football nationally, I know you have your sights set on whatever the postseason looks like too. So how much is that playing into not just winning these games, but dominating these games as much as you possibly can?
I think there's a little bit that plays into it, but I think we're really just focused on going 1-0 every week. And, that'll take care of itself if we just dominate every game and play our best football.
Johnny, traditionally, Pullman is a tough place to play, including for the Ducks, as you know, from 2 years ago. But what are you kind of expecting without that atmosphere that they usually create there without fans?
I'm not really too sure how it's going to be. I think just this year overall is just going to be an off year, having no fans in the stadiums. But I think we're just going to go out there and play our best game and play our best football and see what we can do.
What did you make of I know there weren't a lot of catches for the younger receivers, but I think a first chance to see some of these guys in action. How did you assess the play of outside of the big three, you, Jalen, and Micah, how those guys performed?
I think they did a great job. I think they're really efficient, and I think overall we had a good game as a group, and things are just getting better and better as the time goes.
With the environment and no crowds, you feel like this equalizes things? I mean, you guys don't have to worry about silent counts and whatnot. Is there an advantage without fans for yourself this week with being an away team?
I think that does play a part in it. Having no fans, it kind of just neutralizes everything, and we can just focus on the game and not anything else. And yeah.
Johnny, your first catch came on a third down. It was one of a lot of third down conversions. Might be a program record, 9 of 11. It's a career record for Moorhead. It's an unbelievable rate, 9 of 11 on third. When you saw that on the box score, just what were you even thinking, and just the consistency of the offense to deliver like that, because that's pretty unheard of.
I actually didn't even know that till right now, but that's great to hear. That's something we work on every day. Third down is a big down for us, and we always got to keep that ball moving down the field so we can have another play and score points. So yeah.
Johnny, you guys talked a lot about how Tyler's been a leader even when he was backing up Herbert. Was that kind of on display in the opener? And I know you're a tough grader, but was it nice to see him kind of lead the team on the field after that long wait?
Yeah, it was nice. I think he finally got that opportunity to step up and show everybody how he can lead. And he did a great job of doing that during the game, before the game, even after the game, just getting guys together and getting us fired up. So I'm excited for what he can do in the future, keeping that going, and how he's going to end up in the end.
You just spoke with your teammate Ryan. Took some national accolades, Pac-12 Offensive Lineman of the Week, former walk-on. What can you say about him and the contributions he put it there on a Saturday?
Ryan walks. He's the definition of a hard worker. A guy that works super hard in the weight room. Off season, doing all the things right. All the things that coach is asking for, and he deserves every little inch of playing time and everything that he does on the field. And he did a great job on Saturday, and he's going to continue to do a great job.
Okay, so if you give Tyler a B-, that means you think he has like a full letter grade and then some to get better. Do you think what is keeping him? Like, when do you think he's going to reach that potential?
I think he can reach it tomorrow, anytime he wants to. I think he just, him being confident and getting comfortable in there and making the plays that I know he can make, that's what's going to do it for him. So, he's obviously done a great job, but there's a lot more things he could do.
Hey, that's pretty great to hear from Johnny Johnson, Joe Moorhead, Ryan Walk. They're happy, but some things to improve on heading into this first now road game against Washington State. Good start for the Ducks against the Cardinal, but Washington State does present some challenges. New coaching staff, but a very talented defensive front. I think that Washington State's defense, especially under Mike Leach, with so much focus on the offense, their defense got underrated quite a bit. They're solid, and they do a lot of creative things defensively that I think is going to be a test for this Oregon offense. We'll find out how they handle it. Pac-12 Sunrise coming from Stephanie, yeah. Theo says Pac-12 Morning Blitz. And Bill, Pac-12 Bloody Mary time. I like that, Bill. Good work. Good work. Yeah, we'll get a quick time out. That made me laugh. Come back. I'll catch up on some of your other. Matthias likes I like pigskin and pancakes. Apparently, pigskin and pancakes is the leader in the clubhouse now. No reference to Pac-12, just pigskin and pancakes. I don't know. Also, I see Thomas asking something about the duck. We'll answer that question when we come back. It's Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. You're going to hear from Tyler Shough next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Mountain Dew Zero Sugar presents an original that's now maybe even better. Mary had a little lamb.
Mary had a bottle of Mountain Dew Zero Sugar with the same refreshing taste as the original, but with zero sugar. Same refreshing taste as the original, but with zero sugar. Same refreshing taste as the original, but with zero sugar. Mary had a bottle of Mountain Dew Zero Sugar. Let's taste was as good as the original, maybe even better.
Mountain Dew Zero Sugar. As good as the original, maybe even better.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics. This is the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
A ranger station.
I'd like to report a bear hug.
Okay.
Put out my campfire and Smokey Bear hugged me.
So you drowned the fire, you stirred it, drowned it again, and felt that it was cold?
Uh-huh.
Yep, he's just letting you know you did good.
Bear hug from Smokey Bear. Status update.
I'm gonna let you go now. There are many ways to start a fire, but one sure way to put it out. Learn how you can do your part at SmokeyBear.com.
Sponsored by the U.S. Forest Service Ad Council and your state forester.
I'm probably okay to have one more drink before I drive home. I'm probably okay. I open the window to stay alert. Probably okay. I just popped some gum in my mouth.
Step out of the car, please.
I probably made a mistake.
Probably okay isn't okay when it comes to drinking and driving. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
We're back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union, live inside the Country Financial Studio. Earlier today, just a little while ago, if you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour, Tyler Shough, the Oregon quarterback, joined the media. Talk a little bit about his performance against Stanford and discuss this Cougar defense and how the Ducks attack them at 4 o'clock on Saturday. Tyler Shough with the media today.
So, Johnny, you've been with Tyler, you've been with Johnny for quite a while now. If you were to give Johnny a grade on the game, Stanford, what kind of grade would you give him?
You know, I'd probably give him an A minus for sure. He played his butt off. I think he didn't really have any missed assignments or personal errors. I know he was kind of tough on me, and I would have probably gave myself a worse grade. But I think he probably had an A minus or B plus around that range.
Yeah, Tyler, I was going to ask what's the things you need to clean up on? You said you give yourself a harder grade. What are the things you need to clean up on from week 1 to week 2?
I think there was just a lot of plays left out there, specifically by my decision making. We could have a lot of more explosive plays. Obviously that one interception, just trying to force the ball late over the middle, and another one, just trust my feet and hit the check down if it's not there. Things of that nature. But honestly, I felt like we pushed the ball down the field well. We just need to finish it when we're in the red zone.
Another person you're pretty close with is Ryan Locke, who was just out here talking. Can you reflect upon his journey and then what it means to see him earn those kind of national and conference accolades in his first start too?
Yeah, you know, it's amazing for him just because I've been his roommate for almost over 2 years now, and I remember those days back then where, you know, he was thinking about transferring. You know, it was looking bleak. You know, he's getting the 2 reps with the center. You know, then he worked his way up. I think he just always the big thing for him. He just kept his nose down and kept working. Just knowing that he kept his faith in the process, and I'm glad to see it's actually paying out for him. And you know, he knows that there's a lot more work to be done. and we're not going to settle just for 1 week and a win. So we got to keep moving forward, and I think he's got his great mindset about that.
So I'm curious of your conversations with Justin Herbert still, and how much you guys talk, especially after your first start. Have you guys talked at all? What sort of communication and feedback has he given you, if any?
Yeah. He texted me after the game, good job, and we talk a little bit after each game about how he's doing. And I got a lot of feedback from a lot of former athletes, and it's always great to hear from them. I'm really close friends with a lot of those guys, and it's good to have that connection still there.
Tyler, you guys, as advertised, did take a lot of shots downfield. What are the keys to throwing the deep ball and completing it? Because, typically it's a low percentage play, but your guys made some plays out there, and it seemed like something that was pretty consistent for you guys.
Yeah, it's just about giving those guys a chance. They're extremely talented athletes, extremely well ball catchers. So Coach Moorhead always harps on 100% of overthrown balls are incomplete. So if you ever overthrow it, then you might as well not throw it as well. So you just got to give them a chance, let them make a play on the ball if the look's right. And obviously, you got to take your chances, and that's our goal, is to have explosive plays. But if it's not there, we got to learn to settle for the next read or the check down.
It's going to sound pretty obvious, but you guys were on schedule pretty much all night. When you see 9 of 11 on third down, and that's not a number that you're going to see very often, as good as that is, what was your takeaways from seeing 9 of 11? It was obviously the run game, it's the pass game, but you were 5 of 6, and they were all for first downs. Yeah, I think that's just great play calling, great execution, and great job by everyone on the O-line, wide receivers, running backs, just recognizing what they're in, and that just came with preparation in the week prior, and then just executing on the field. So obviously that's a goal we were going to strive forward, and hopefully not settle for anything less than that than good percentages on third down.
What are the challenges with Washington State's defense? This is a team that's always given this program a lot of trouble.
They're a really talented defense. They're fast. They fly to the ball a lot. They run a mix of different coverages. They play quite a few zone mans. They mix it up. So I think they're going to come out ready to play back in their home stadium. So we got to be prepared, and that's what we're doing this entire week to get ourselves ready for Saturday.
Follow up on what you said earlier about a couple of years ago, tough for Ryan to kind of know what the future held. And I guess, how did you encourage him? How did he encourage you? And I guess I'll throw Alex Forsythe, and then I know you guys are also roommates, but kind of how did you guys keep each other focused when playing time wasn't immediate?
Yeah, we were honestly kind of all in the same situation, kind of waiting our turn behind prolific starters and seniors. I think we were leaders of that second group. That's the kind of thing we took pride in, and with Micah and all those guys, we were dominating, our space and dominating what we could and controlling what we could control. And that just came with preparing like we were the starter, because, that would be our goal one day. So I think now that we have the ability to be in that position and start, we're going to run away with it and do the best that we can to work our butts off.
So obviously on the field is one aspect that you need to be a leader as the starting quarterback for this team. But from Justin, from former players, what's the best advice you've gotten from them on how to be a leader in the locker room and be that quarterback leader that's sort of required of you?
Yeah, that's just, I think, doing everything right and leading by example. Obviously Justin was at least from Justin, he was a quieter guy, but he always did things right when it was time to work and when it was time to prepare. So I definitely learned that from him, and I'm kind of taking my own style into it, and that's just developing, one-on-one relationships with your teammates and getting to know guys, and always just being there to talk and have conversations with them. And, it's paying off so far just to getting all these new freshmen, because we got a lot of guys here, and it's only going to get bigger, this team.
Yeah, Tyler, I think it seems like you ran the ball more, the quarterback in Stanford game, than almost the whole season. Are you relishing the fact, that might be a little of exaggeration, but are you relishing the fact of running the ball? And can you describe that run where you went one way, turn direction? Is that just totally improvisation or what?
Yeah, I'm basically going to do whatever it takes to help the team win the game. I don't have a certain number where I'd want to run the ball or not run the ball. It's just whatever the coach calls and whatever's needed to get the first down, per se. And a lot of those were scrambles, but in that one play where in the red zone, it was some of an improvised play. We were going to run to the right, and then that guy came free off the edge because of a call, and then we weren't really prepared for that. So then I had to improvise a little bit, and it definitely paid off.
One thing this line was really great at last year was isolating some of the middle linebackers in general, whether it was Weaver, Hamilcar. They were really ineffective in those games last year. obviously it's worked with a new group where you didn't get sacked on Saturday. How much is it? Again, it sounds obvious, but how does it put you at ease knowing that you're protected, and when you're facing up against a guy like a Woods or Rogers at DN from Wazoo, that this line could do the same thing as last year's line did and take good players out of a game?
Yeah, that just goes to says a lot about their preparation in the week. They take their craft seriously, and Coach Mirabal is one of the best coaches we have on staff, and that group is dialed in always. And obviously this line we have right now, you pick your trade, they can play every position, and they work really hard. So obviously I feel super comfortable most of the time back there, just because we know what's the protection, we know who's hot, and everything like that for the most part. So I know they've been working hard, and I'm excited to see what we can do going forward.
Knowing what a game is like now without fans, do you think there's an advantage for the away team now without crowd noise, and you don't have to worry about snap counts and getting calls in and out?
I wouldn't say there's an advantage. I just say there wouldn't be a disadvantage. It's everyone's kind of on the same playing field. Obviously, you still got a away team, still have to go to that place, still got to get on a plane and be in a hotel and deal with the whole road game aspect. And obviously the crowd noise is going to be the same with the ambient noise in the background regardless. So I think we're just really excited and thankful we can play the game regardless of whoever it is or whoever's in the stands.
Because you mentioned plays that were left out there, Tyler, I'm not trying to nitpick, but you've mentioned a couple times. And for those who've gone back and looked, the one to Johnny in the fourth quarter, I think it was a first down where they had a nickel fire, and you went there for the short pass where it's the open zone. I get it. But Jalen was up against a linebacker, had his step. Is that one that you look at back and say, oh, maybe if you see that pre-snap, if you're able to, and what's kind of the difference there, or whether it was that or Micah getting matched up with a fourth-team corner and a true freshman that you guys didn't quite capitalize as much? Are those some of the things you're referring to?
Yeah, things of that nature on that play to where J-Red was on the linebacker. That's just we got to change the protection to go out to that guy so we're not hot off the end. And I just made that decision because I was hot and they left Johnny open in the slot to just take it right now. But yeah, obviously that just comes with a good feel for it and things of that nature, just making good decisions and to where we can have effective plays and not worry about, what as much as they're doing, but just make sure we're correct and just on the fly.
Tyler Shuck, Oregon quarterback. You can just tell he has that confidence about him now, I think, and he's really taken over the leadership in, I think, a very positive way for this team. That's Tyler Shough talking with the media. A quick timeout. When we come back, some news and notes around Oregon athletics, some updates on the kickoff against Washington State, especially now with some cancellations and postponements around the rest of college football. We'll tell you how that impacts the Ducks. First, today's show brought to you by Jackson's Food Stores, proud sponsor of the University of Oregon Ducks. Stop by your neighborhood Jackson's for all your game day essentials with everyday specials on game day necessities. You'll be ready for anything the big game brings. Go Ducks. A quick timeout. When we come back, Oregon might be in the national spotlight for more reasons than one. That's next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, well, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
When I grow up, I want to be a new pair of blue jeans.
When I grow up, I want to be a kid's first computer.
I want to be a warm fleece on a cold day.
I want to be a bike that races around the country.
I want to be a bench on a forest trail. When I grow up, I don't want to be a piece of garbage. And if you recycle me, I won't be.
Give your garbage another life. Recycle.
Learn how at iwanttoberecycled.org. Brought to you by Keep America Beautiful and the Ad Council.
Whoa.
The moment my son saw a redwood tree
It's huge!
is the moment I knew that for him,
You can't even see the top of that thing.
even the sky has no limit.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org. Learn about forests near you and discover cool things to do when you go. Your moment is out there. Find it at discovertheforest.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Joey Mack, welcoming you back to Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. We're inside the Country Financial Studio. Thomas asked earlier if anyone knows if the Duck is going to stream for the Cougars game this week. He says it was rich watching the replay. Yeah, so the Duck, if you didn't see as part of our Autzen Live pregame or if you weren't following him on his social media, the Duck did his best to get into Autzen Stadium. He had some fun with it. And well, I'm going to defer to the man who filmed the Duck trying to get into Autzen Stadium because that was one Scott Phillips.
Yeah. He was trying to get in.
Are we going to see? Are we going to see more?
I would assume so. I have not heard officially. Since we're on a first name basis, I call him Duck. And
oh, sure.
Yeah, he calls me Scott.
For sure. He doesn't call you anything though. He like motions to you.
Well, he kind of motions and does his thing. But,
right.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard officially. I'll try and get word from him today, and we'll get back to that question tomorrow.
I think I know that he is planning on doing some more live streams and doing some fun things though. So just stick around for that.
He always does.
Yeah, I gotta say though, I mean, it was the first time ever that the Duck was not in Autzen Stadium for a home game. 2020, man.
That's kind of weird.
It's really weird. It's not kind of weird. It's really weird.
Yeah. RoboDuck was in there.
Well, the Duck was in there in cardboard cutouts like RoboDuck was, but I mean, the physical Duck himself was not in there.
Yeah, kind of strange.
So we'll have more on that coming up. But John Brewer, who is the marketing guru for Oregon Athletics, he will be with us on the show on Thursday to talk about some of this kind of stuff and still engaging with everybody during these weird times. Also, hey, virtual sellout for the Washington game. We're going to keep talking about it. GoDucks.com/sellout. GoDucks.com/sellout. You're going to want to get in on that because we got to keep beating the Huskies in more ways than one. See you tomorrow.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Jelly. Jelly adjective. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster